Hey Moon Magic Super Souls, welcome back to the channel if you are returning, and welcome to anyone new. I'm seeing your cards straight off the bat here. 1, 2 here, and this one number 3. So beautiful souls, we are choosing 3 cards and we are doing 3 readings, and we are asking for an immediate message from Spirit for you. So as I was saying, welcome back to anyone who's already following my readings and part of the channel, and welcome back, or welcome to anyone new, not welcome back, welcome to anyone new. It's a real privilege to be reading for you today. So we have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and we are asking for an immediate message, and I will potentially look at the week ahead for you as well. I post these readings every Sunday. They are of course timeless. So let us have a look. Pile 1, you have the Snow Shepherdess. This is for pile 1, an immediate message from Spirit for you today. For pile 2, you have Grandmother Love of Love, Granddaughter of Life. And this is your card. And we have Sacred Falcon Shows the Way. This is for pile 3. Okay, beautiful souls. Pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. Now I'm going to draw a rune and a charm as well for these 3 piles, for anyone that actually likes to have that little bit of extra information. If you already know which of these cards is really singing to you, the timestamps are in the description box below, so you can just zap straight through to whichever reading you want to tune in with. And sometimes it's more than one. I know some people follow these readings week in, week out, and thank you so much. And it's such an honor to be connected with you, to read for you, and thank you for your comments and keeping us posted. It is really wonderful to hear what is happening in your worlds. Now, cards and runes. We have, for pile 1, we have the rune of fertility. This is Inga's, and you have a sun. So that is sitting with the Snow Shepherdess. Okay. For pile 2, we have the rune of Algiz. This is the rune of protection. And you also have a very beautiful fairy sitting in a 5-pointed star. Let me show that to you. I think that will hopefully focus. Move that, see if it'll focus better. Anyway, there we are. Protection, Algiz, and the 5-pointed star with a fairy. And for pile 3, we have, okay, you have the blank rune. You also have a rabbit. Little rabbit, that little charm. So that is for pile 3. Okay, wow. Okay, this is awesome. I am really excited to be doing your readings today. It's a very interesting energy. I don't know if you guys are picking up on it. I'm not going to say any more. I'll wait until I get into the readings, but there is a really distinct energy around us at this point of doing this reading, and obviously it is timeless, so it'll be interesting to see how the readings pan for you whenever you come to them. Beautiful souls, I'm going to leave the video running for a few moments longer. Take as long as you need. If you need any longer than the period I'm going to leave the video running, then just press the pause button, and I will see you in the readings in just a moment. Pile 1, welcome to your reading. The energy around these readings is really, really interesting. All of the colours, I don't know if you noticed them, every card felt very sort of bluey, kind of snowy kind of energy, quite interesting, yeah, very blue kind of energy. Now, simultaneously, actually, the vibration from these readings is really, really high in terms of sort of potential shifts and potential changes. All of them actually I felt were speaking of transition. I don't want to say too much in case you were drawn to pile 2 or 3 as well. But your card is a really, really extraordinary card. The Snow Shepherdess speaks of literally something that you thought would be impossible becomes possible. And the rune of fertility is really a space of exactly that, of fertility. And you have the energy of the sun. So I feel like there's this massive shift from something that feels quite wintry and quite cold to something that feels vibrant and sparkly and shiny and you know, the sunshine. Literally, it would be like... you know how you can have, or certainly here in the UK, we have quite cold, dark winter days when everything is cloudy, and then suddenly, you know, the clouds, you know, open, and you get these extraordinary, crisp, clear winter days with blue skies, and everything is sparkling. Anything that felt cold and damp and sort of a little bit shadowy suddenly becomes sparkly and really alive and vibrant. And I feel like it's this kind of shift we're being shown here. But very specifically, something that you didn't think would be possible becomes possible. I'm going to throw some astrology dice for you. How interesting. So we have the South Node and we have also Sagittarius. So that's really interesting. So something from the past is actually, I think, going to take off. Something you've already invested in, something that maybe you did a while ago that do you know, for some of you, it could be something that's been laying dormant, or you put it out there and it didn't really do anything. I think it could suddenly take off. It could find a life of its own. It's, yeah, definitely something from the past that's creating this shift. I'm going to draw chakra cards for you next. That is what I'm really hearing. I'm seeing this one and this one as well. We have enlightenment, instinct, and faith. Okay, look at the sun coming through. This is really reinforcing exactly what I was just really picking up on here, that something from the past, something you've already created or done, is about to emerge. The card of enlightenment actually does speak. I mean, this is the solar plexus as well, the yellow. This card speaks of a little boy asking for guidance and asking for enlightenment, and really the figure, the spiritual figure here, is sort of saying, well, look, enlightenment is already within you. It's here, it's right in front of you. So there's something you've already invested in. I think you instinctively followed through with something in the past. You did something, you planted some seeds. Now, you may have long since forgotten about them, or thought that that's, you know, it could be like a book that you put on the shelf, or you could have done something and it just didn't take off because the timing perhaps wasn't quite right. But actually, this is the point when your sort of instinct and your trust and your faith in what you were doing then is about to appear, to reach its point of fertility, to burst forth. Like that, the clouds open and suddenly the sunshine arrives. And it is interesting because fertility sometimes speaks of completion, or the completion of something, or the completion of a period of something, so that, you know, it is like all that work you put into something, and then when it's completed, then it can launch into its process of fertility. So I actually think, my beautiful souls, the message that you are meant to receive today is that something you have already invested in is going to come to fruition in some way. How interesting. I think you had faith, and you did something in good faith. And for some of you, this could have been an act of care, of regard. that you offered someone, you gave someone something, and somehow it comes back to you. But something from the past, the rewards of something you've already done are about to come to fruition. Let's draw more cards. Let's draw some tarot cards. In fact, I say that, I'm going to draw an oracle card for you first. May we have more information about this message, this immediate message. There we are. That is your card. We have great mystery, trust. And look at the butterfly. I mean, the butterfly is a symbol of fruition. You know, all of those struggles that little caterpillar, that little chrysalis has had to go through, those different stages of evolution before the butterfly emerges. This is the point of emergence, and it will be like, for some of you as well, it'll be like, whoa, almost like it comes out of the blue. The great mystery, faith. Faith, trust. Your instinct in the past was right, and now it comes to fruition. Okay. May we have additional information perhaps, or information about the coming week, or further information about this. We have Page of Angels, mysticism. Okay. Four of Angels, rest. We have the turnaround, revolution. Okay, I'm seeing card on the base. The divine order, equilibrium. Yes, I'm getting your reading through and through. We have the card of the star, and I'd like one more. I think it is from the base of the pack, actually. Eight of Angels, confusion. How interesting. Okay. So what I'm seeing here is my lovely pile one. I think something that you have, as I've said, already invested in. You've already either created it or sown that seed. I think this week it is about to emerge. Now, I think the Eight of Angels, confusion, is here because I think in many ways you've possibly questioned why it didn't happen before. Something turns around, something that, and it's bringing it into balance. You see, I think that you have worked very, very, very hard. I think you are a real worker. I think you are somebody who, you don't sit on your laurels. I think you are somebody who, in a very, very daily way, just the very essence of who you are, I think you are somebody who invests fully in people, in stuff, in things, in projects. You're the kind of person who goes the extra mile. And I think you've done so very much with the trust and the faith and the belief that kind of what we put into the world comes back. But I also think you have reached a point where some of you maybe have reached, not exactly burnout, but I think you've possibly reached a point where you've really questioned whether stuff that you want to come to fruition is ever going to. I think you've questioned it. I think perhaps because maybe you've been through a period where you've felt that you were working solidly, things were out of balance. I think it's tested your faith. And the wait that you've had to wait before this magical opening, this point of fertility comes, I think it's literally tested your faith. You know, I think we hear all these amazing things, don't we, about, you know, about manifestation, and if you think it, you know, and you believe it, it will come, you know, it will come true, it will happen. And then very often we think, well, I've been working at this for ages and, you know, it just hasn't happened yet. And then we begin to sort of, like, it really does. It tests your faith. It tests your trust in the bigger picture. I think that something is going to turn that around. Curiously, it possibly also happens at a point when you step away, which is fascinating. Because I do think sometimes when we are working and working and working at something, I don't know if this, well, I think you're workers, I think you're hard workers, I think you invest fully. and to the point where sometimes you get very, very tired because you're working and you're not necessarily seeing the rewards coming back to you. I think a reward is about to come back to you. I think it comes to you when you step away. You may even have reached a point where you just think, do you know what? I just can't keep going. I'm just going to take a day off. This isn't working. You know, nothing's coming to fruition. Why am I doing this? And you walk away, you step back. If any of you have an invitation this week to step away and you think, do you know what, I didn't intend to take a day of rest today, but I'm just going to do it because I'm so tired and it just feels like I'm not getting anywhere. And I have to say, at the time of doing these readings, there are lots of planets in retrograde. Mercury is in retrograde. You might be watching this in a year's time or 2 years' time, but if you're watching it as I'm uploading it, you might be finding that things aren't moving forwards as quickly or as fluently as you would like them to. Interestingly enough, as you step away, it's almost as if you think of that saying, every force is met with an equal force. Sometimes the very nature of trying to push forwards means that we are actually creating an energy of resistance unintentionally. And I feel this is a week when you step away, take a break. There's guidance being offered here. Step away, take a break. Don't try to push something. Trust in the great mystery. Look, mysticism, mystery. Trust in the great mystery. Have faith. Your instinct is right. The stuff you have already invested in, the things you have been investing in, are absolutely, you know, stuff you've done in the past is about to come to fruition. So, order will be resumed. Balance will be resumed with the divine order. Equilibrium. If you bring yourself back into balance, the turnaround will happen. It's almost as though that, I think you're on the brink of an opening. The brink of an emergence. The brink of something coming into you that you've already invested in the past. Something you've created. Something you've been working on. I think it's going to come back to you. The rewards. The fertility. Step away. This week there's really, really interesting energy. Rather than trying to push to achieve, take time out. Just be balanced about it. It doesn't mean don't do anything, but be balanced about it. And there's something about shifting your energy that will allow something to then emerge. It would literally be like a chrysalis, pushing and pushing and pushing to break out of that chrysalis state. And actually, taking a breather is going to be more helpful, because if the chrysalis pushes and pushes and pushes, or the butterfly as it tries to break forth, it could damage its wings. It needs to sort of, there's a process. But I think the process is in progress, and I think it is happening with divine timing. So let something emerge this week, beautiful souls, because actually what we're being shown here is that something you have already been working on, or you've committed to, or seeds you've sown in the past are going to come to fruition. That's your first message, the immediate message. And the guidance for this week is to step back and allow the universe to do some of the work for you. Rather than trying to strive to arrive, let the universe do the work for you. Have trust, have faith, and just allow it to unfold. And then divine timing will kick in, and it'll be like, you know, there'll be a turnaround, the right timing. Something will happen, the right thing will happen at the right moment. And a bit like dominoes, you know, when you think of those little stack of dominoes and they line them all up and you press one, or you knock one over and they all start to fall into place. I think everything will click into place for you, but you've kind of got to allow the universe to assist you rather than trying to strive to arrive. Pile 1. These are your messages for this week. Thank you so much. I'm excited for you. I can feel that you have worked so hard. You really, really deserve what is coming to you, the success. Let it arrive. Let it happen. Let it emerge. I mean, sometimes a reading will say, you've got to take action. But this reading is really saying, you know, I'm not saying don't do anything, but step back, rest up. I mean, look at the way the butterfly as well here in the Page of Angels sits in her solar plexus. And this is what the Enlightenment card is. You know, the the information is right in front of you. The results are going to happen. They're going to emerge. They're going to come to light. Have faith, have trust. This is beautiful. Take time out this week, be balanced, and the universe will be an active co-creator with you to bring something to a space of fruition. And it's literally something that you would honestly have thought, this is never going to happen. I'm never going to be able to pull this off, or it's never going to come to fruition. Well, it is. That's what your reading is saying. Pile 1, I'm sending you the biggest hug ever. Keep us posted. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for giving back through the super thanks in the comments to those that do. Thank you for liking, for sharing, for subscribing, all the things that help to support the channel. I am sending you so much love. Don't forget to press the little bell icon if you subscribe, and that way you should never miss a reading. Tons of love, beautiful souls. Hey, Pile 2, welcome to your reading, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for joining me today for these readings. Now, we're asking for an immediate message for you. I'm going to I'm going to roll the astrology dice as well. There's a very interesting energy around these readings. Okay, so you have the moon in Aquarius. Okay. Now, let us just talk about what we see here already. I feel like with the grandmother of love, granddaughter of life, you're an old soul and you've actually come here with purpose. Now, people who've come here with purpose often experience some quite big life events. I think we just do, because the nature of the level of soul growth that you have come here to process is big. An old soul will have come here to do quite a lot of work, and it's not just for you individually, it's the work that then like that ripples out into the universe, and it has an impact on the greater collective. And at this moment in time, there are many souls who've come here very specifically to handle quite a lot of transition, quite a lot of upheaval, to, you know, sort through and sift through generational trauma, just all kinds of stuff. Now, what I see here is you are being guided here. You're being protected, both protected and guided. We have this beautiful fairy sitting in a star. Now, some of you may be feeling a little bit isolated in something that you're trying to navigate and handle. I think it's quite an emotional situation. This rune speaks of emotions, managing our emotions, not being emotionally reactive, but learning to listen to your emotions and being responsive rather than reactive. Now, I wrote a book actually about emotions, about how to use even your most challenging emotions as a source of empowerment. If you're new to me and my channel, then it's called Mindfulness Meets Emotional Awareness, and I will put that link to that book right at the top of the description, in the description box and in the comment that I post, along with the timestamps and the cards. Now, that book really will teach you to handle your emotions as a source of empowerment, even the difficult ones. I also have a free library as well, I should say, totally free online library full of audios, videos, all about psychology and emotions. We're in a space where there's a lot of emotional reactivity because there's so much transition going on. You're kind of here with purpose. I feel like you're needing to hold the higher ground on something. That's the message that's coming through here. It's quite emotionally charged, and yeah, you're having to hold the higher ground here, and that's not easy. There may even be people around you who are behaving in a way that feels a bit childish. And it's very difficult when people behave in a childish manner, because instinctively sometimes we just want to retaliate. There's something about people's energy as it spills over. You can get into that tit for tat. I'm not suggesting you would, but you know, there's something about you having to hold the higher ground here, and possibly feeling a little bit like alone with that, like you're the one that's having to hold that higher perspective when everybody else around you is kind of dissolving into school playground behavior. That's the energy that I'm seeing here. Now, I said right at the start, there is a very distinct energy around all of the readings this week. They're very different readings. The colours are very bluey, grey kind of colours. And yet, There's a very distinct, a very high vibrational energy around the readings as well. So I feel with you there's a very distinct choice in terms of how you respond to something that's going on around you. And it is very emotionally driven. Let's draw some chakra cards for you. You have balance. Okay, yeah, that figures. Okay, look at these sulky people with their arms folded, and there are you trying to be the peacemaker. Some of you may find that you are having to be a peacemaker. You're holding the peace, keeping the peace, trying to keep a balanced perspective, holding the higher ground. And here's these sulky, adults but looking like children going on here. Destiny. Okay, interesting. Just what I was saying really about the chakras. This is the throat chakra. So you're the voice of peace, you're the voice of reason. With destiny we have this is the crown chakra. So I think this is part of almost your calling, your mission at the moment. I suspect our purpose, there are many different layers of purpose. There's our higher calling, our higher purpose, which could be, the contribution or the service that we are making in an everyday way. Sometimes we are making a contribution, we are being of service just by being a peacekeeper. You are being protected, you are being guided. I think you're possibly having a wobble around whatever's happening. So let's get more information for you about this. Workaholic. Okay. It probably does feel a bit like you are working overtime, I suspect, on this, really. You're having to work overtime. I'm going to get a bit more information. Let's draw your tarot cards before I say too much more. In fact, I want to draw another oracle from a different pack. Let me move these along and see if we can squeeze in one more card in this line. Yeah, I think we can do that, no problem. Excellent. Let's draw you one more oracle card first. See what else we're shown. Bring some light. Okay, and you have the West, Purge. Okay. Right, my beautiful souls. Look at the owl. The West direction in a medicine wheel is a space of reflection. It's a space of introspection. It's a space where we look at things very, very closely. We look at our position in something. We don't have to be, again, we're not swept along by something. The bear it represents the West of the medicine wheel, and bears go into their cave to enter the dream time and to ponder things, to reflect on things. I think there is something you're having to process. For some of you, you're having to process something and work through it. I do think there's this energy of holding the higher ground that is coming through really, really strongly over some kind of a circumstance or situation around you. Let's move that over a little bit, make a bit of space so we can get everything in for you. Yeah, you're having to work through something. Now, whether you are working through this within you or you're working through it in circumstances around you, you are having to hold the higher ground in this. You're having to be the peacekeeper. Now, I think it's taking up quite a lot of your energy, actually, with the workaholic card here. That's what I think we're really seeing here. It's taking up a lot of your time, a lot of your energy. You're having to work overtime at trying to navigate this. What else are we shown for my beautiful pile twos? What message, what immediate guidance is coming through? So 4 of Angels, rest. Okay. I am seeing 1, 2. Do you know, I think all of those are your cards, and we may draw more, but let's see what else we get here. We have Knight of Stars, Adventurer. 5 of Hearts, Sorrow. We have the Sun, Vitality, fabulous. We have the 10 of Trees, Loyalty. We have the 3 of Stars, Vision. Okay. This is very, very interesting. Okay, so there is a question around you. This wobble, this working something through, holding the higher ground. I think there is a question of loyalty coming into this. So it could be that somebody has behaved very badly, but you have a kind of a loyalty to them. Excuse me. You know, there's new territory around you as well. You're stepping into new ground. Okay. A different way of seeing things, a different way of doing things. I do feel with you that there are a group of people around you. This could be family for some of you. This could be family or your immediate community. It's got a real sense of family, community, friends. I'll get some more cards just to clarify this, but I feel that that's the sense of this. It's people with whom you have a loyalty to, or a group you have a loyalty to. And things that some people are just not behaving well, and it's really causing you to feel quite really saddened by this. And I think a part of you would like to just walk away, if I'm honest. You know, you've got a different resonance. You'd like to walk away from this, but I also think you're not quite sure how best to navigate this. There's definitely an energy of perhaps you made a commitment or a loyalty. There's someone you love. Again, family dynamics. You may even literally be caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, where you are literally one person's taking one viewpoint and another's taking another viewpoint, and these are your friends or something, or your work colleagues, and they're both telling you both sides of a story, and you're kind of trying to hold the higher ground. You're the peacekeeper here, and you're really trying to process this and think, you know, how do I manage to bring this into a space where we find a solution that is going to clear everything up and resolve things. I feel that there are people around you who are at loggerheads, people around you who are very divided or hold a very different viewpoint on something. Now, beautiful souls, be sure to rest up. You know, meditation is more likely to bring you the answers than overworking this in your own mind. I think there is a little bit of anxiety around you, or a little bit, there's certainly sadness around the fact that something has sort of disintegrated into this position. But kind of retreat into your cave. Very clear advice actually coming through for you, advice and guidance really, which is with this situation, and these are the messages, the immediate messages, which is retreat into your cave and contemplate this. I don't think you can force this to change, because you can't force people to change. You can't change someone else's perspective. So whatever opposing perspectives, opposing energies are, opposing attitudes, you can't force people to change their viewpoint. You simply can't. So rather than trying to, you know, empowerment is power over ourselves, it's not power over us. Your loyalty needs to be to your pathway and what you know to be right for you. Meditation is really good here. Meditation, retreat, withdrawal. And I don't mean withdrawal running away, I mean withdrawal into that space of internal retreat and reflection. You're actually, I mean, we have the sun, vitality, and the Three of Stars. I think if you withdraw and get into a space of meditation, the answers will come to you. This is one of those times when there is a need to, rather than, you know, wobble, retreat and always contemplate what is the highest perspective, what's the biggest viewpoint. You know, when you and there are so many tools available to you, readings such as this, for example. You know, if you're having a big wobble, find a reading you can tune into. The Moon Magic homepage, or indeed there are many amazing readers here on YouTube. I did a reading last week about yes, no, maybe answers. So if you're having a wobble as to how to proceed, you know, check out those additional readings, find out, get guidance, open a book, see what page it opens on. In fact, I think I'm going to do that for you. Yeah, I had such an urge there just to open a book. So this is one of my books, but it's I Choose Love, the A to Z guidebook for the spiritual warrior. I didn't start out this reading intending to just look into this book for you. It's a very little book, but let's see what page do we open it on. Here we go. Ah, look at this. It's about emotion. Okay, so this says healthy fear. And this, how fascinating. This is actually has got a little extract from the very book that I was talking about. Okay, so healthy fear. The first step in learning to manage both fear and anxiety is to understand the difference between unhealthy fear and anxiety and healthy fear and anxiety. In its primary capacity, fear brings us the gift of protection and therefore the gift of safety. Now, this may seem an extreme contradiction to our actual experience of fear, because when we feel fear, we don't feel safe. We don't feel safe at all. But when we feel fear, it is actually informing us of a loss or a lack of safety. Healthy fear is an immediate and fully present experience. It's a response to something that is happening right here and right now when we experience a genuine and real threat. It is absolutely essential when we experience a genuine and real threat that we listen to our fear and we take action. If I were out walking and a car careered off the road, my healthy fear would activate immediately, and fueled by adrenaline, I would get out of the way. Without fear, self-preservation would be absent. When a pride of lions sets out to hunt, the animals they are hunting immediately move into high alert. They experience fear, and this is appropriate. Excuse me. Let me open my book a little wider. However, when the hunt is over and fear is no longer needed, they turn down their alert system, and within a very short space of time they will all be grazing as normal, often not far from the very pride of lions who just half an hour previously were in immediate and very real danger to them. The threat is over and they are now continuing with their lives. They do not constantly look over their shoulders, anticipating the next attack, never relaxing and never recovering from the ordeal. Nor are they living in a state of denial, disassociated from fear in a way that renders it inactive, leaving them vulnerable to attack when the lions next set out to hunt. As human beings, we are different. One of the difficulties that we can run into in our relationship with fear is that we often lack the skills to self-regulate its intensity and its duration. When we experience fear, we don't necessarily turn the volume down. We don't turn it back down automatically. Once our fear has been activated, even though the threat may be over and the same situation may be highly unlikely to ever happen again, we go over and over and over it in our mind, unable to shake it off and put it behind us. So how do we change this? How can we define a difference between healthy fear and anxiety and unhealthy fear and anxiety? A good starting point is to differentiate between the kind of fear that is felt in the immediacy of a moment when a threat is very real and very present, such as being involved in an accident or being under any form of genuine threat, as opposed to the kinds of fears that we hold within us and within our mind, such as fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of catastrophe and disaster, fear of abandonment, of loss and death. The list is endless. The difference sits in the fear of what might be as opposed to the fear of what is. Okay, so as I've just said, the text above, or the text that I've just read, is an extract from Mindfulness Meets Emotional Awareness, 7 Steps to Learn the Language of Your Emotions. If you are struggling with any form of fear or anxiety, the full chapter of this book, contains in-depth information, which it does, along with exercises. And there's a link to my library, my free library. How interesting that the book opened there. I had such a instinctive feeling to open that particular book, which I very rarely have next to me, but I was looking something up in it earlier and I happened to have it next to me for these readings. I didn't know that was going to happen, but it is reinforcing this element of emotional response rather than emotional reaction. And I think there is something going on around you, my beautiful souls, that requires you to rest, step back, meditate, be aware of your emotions so that you work through this in a different way, in a way that allows you to hold on to your energy, hold on to your vitality, hold on to your vision. For many of you, loyalty may feel divided. Loyalty is coming into this. Now, let's draw some more cards for you just to see what else we are shown. But your message is clear. This is all about navigating your emotions, actually. from a position of awareness. Remember, awareness is power. Emotions have a habit of triggering autopilot responses. The more aware we are, the more empowered we are. May we ask for any further information about the coming week for my lovely pile 2, please. Okay. We have Queen of Hearts, 6th Sense. Beautiful. We have King of Hearts. Wow. This is amazing. Healer. And we have King of Trees, Architects. Wow, 2 kings and a queen. You could not have bigger cards. What a confirmation here. Look, you will, whatever situation you are having to handle, you're going to handle it. You will handle it really, really well. You are a leading voice here. You are being guided. You are being protected. You are very much the one who holds the higher vision, the higher ground. Your 6th sense about navigating through this circumstance, or navigating around the people around you who I suspect are behaving very emotionally, in a very emotionally reactive way, perhaps with division, with conflict. You are the one that is holding the voice of reason. In many ways, you are a very gifted healer because you're an old soul. And there is something of this that is being activated, I think, within the immediacy of your world. You are very much an architect of a future way of seeing and doing things. You're a visionary. Part of what you are engaging with, whether this is seeming like it's in a bigger way where you're stepping up and being literally a leader, or within the immediacy of your world, which I think is what's happening for many of you, you are the one that is holding that higher vision, that higher ground. And this is part of your destiny and your calling at this moment in time. You are a healer and a peacekeeper. You are somebody who can assist others in navigating conflict, turmoil, division, actually from a position of higher ground and reason. But take your time, meditate your way through, and know that you are absolutely being guided and protected and valued and appreciated by Source, by Spirit, for the work that you are currently doing. You know, this is the real, what I would call, service to the bigger picture, service to the community, service to, you know, groups of people, affecting people through you know, being a leader by example and just setting that role model. But I do think for many of you, actually being that voice of reason. Huge respect to you all. A big week by the look of things for you. You know, this is amazing, absolutely amazing. The work you're doing is extraordinary. So, you know, thank you. And I would also say, actually, at the time of doing this reading, we have a very, 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 very powerful full moon tomorrow. And the dynamics around communication, potential division are huge, actually. It's an Aquarian full moon as well. So it's all about integrity and holding the higher vision, things being brought to light. And I think you are one of those people who will come to light as being, or literally, a guiding light for others. Wow, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal reading for the energy of this time. Of course, you could be watching this in several years' time. It's a timeless reading. But if you are following these readings, I post readings for immediate guidance every Sunday, then wow, this is something else. It really is. And you are playing a part in a much bigger picture. I am sending you the biggest hugs ever, tons of love and huge, huge respect to you. Beautiful souls, welcome if you're new, welcome back if you're already following my readings. Thank you. Thank you for who you are and for what you're doing. Thank you for liking, sharing, for subscribing, all the things that support the channel. Thank you for commenting. It's wonderful to hear what's happening in your worlds. Thank you for all of you who give back through the super thanks in the comments. And don't forget, if you want to never miss a reading, if you subscribe, press a little bell icon as well. And that way everything should come into your stream as soon as I post it. Tons and tons of love and the hugest of respect to you, beautiful souls. Pile 3, welcome to your reading, beautiful souls. You have Sacred Falcon shows the way. You have a rabbit, or indeed maybe a hare. Beautiful little charm. Very active energy. And you have the blank room, which is a space of possibility. Now, very interesting energy around these readings. The cards were all very bluey, grey, interesting colours, beautiful, subtle colours, and yet the energy around these readings feels very vibrant, quite sort of sparky, actually. So let's throw the astrology dice for you and see what we're shown. You have Venus in Leo. Okay, so big, bold, lovely, beautiful, bright Leo. Venus in Leo. I feel like maybe you need to be larger than life. Let's draw more cards and find out what else we're shown. I'm going to draw some chakra cards for you, pile 3. Let's see, we are asking for an immediate message. I'm seeing this one here. An immediate message for you for today. We have acceptance. We have instinct. We have gossip. Okay. This is interesting. And then let us draw one more oracle card first. And then we'll get to your tarot cards as well. We have birds, freedom. Okay, how interesting that we have this falcon. Sacred falcon shows the way. Right, let me move these along a little bit for you. This is about not being affected by what's going on around you. I really heard when we started these readings and I drew this rabbit, I kind of heard like rabbit in the headlights, being blinded by something or running around like a mad thing, really, dashing from one thing to another. You're in a space of possibility. I feel like, you know, you can't change other people, but you can decide what you're going to do. Freedom of speech is coming through here as well. Having a voice, big, bold, being yourself, being your authentic self, knowing and accepting who you are, not being swayed by other people's perspectives. It's a very strong energy around you. Very interesting at the time of doing these readings. I mean, you could be watching these in a couple of years, but if you're watching them as I posted them, we have a really, really, really powerful full moon tomorrow in Aquarius with very strong dynamics that are connected to communication. We could see a lot of you know, opposing views being expressed. This is about you being you in no uncertain terms, knowing who you are and knowing you have the right to be you and to be accepted and to be loved and appreciated for who you are, not being drawn into anything. And also with the recognition that actually by being you, irrespective of how people may be responding to you, I sort of feel they'll come round to seeing it your way, interestingly enough. There's a liberation of yeah, you being you is really just coming through over and over. Being your authentic self. We have Ace of Trees, abundance. Beautiful card. I'm seeing this card, Seven of Angels, progress. The Divine Order, equilibrium. I'm hearing that song, I Did It My Way. You know, that's coming through here. Oh, two cards. It's almost attached to each other. How interesting. We have Two of Hearts, union. Three of Angels, clarification. Yeah, I'm hearing I Did It My Way. Actually, I'm seeing that one for you. Page of Angels, mysticism. Okay, beautiful souls. Sacred Falcon shows the way. There is possibility around you. Your message is really, really clear. Be you. Don't try to be anything that anyone wants you to be or what you think someone wants you to be. Just be you. Don't step away from who you are. Don't pretend to be anything more. I think that you are somebody who is... Well, obviously, you're all very, very special. We are all very, very special. But there's something very, very remarkable and unique about you that may be being seen differently by some people around you. You may be a bit of a square peg in a round hole. not quite fit with all of the people that are going on around you, or you may just be moving into new circles of people and you're not quite sure how to place yourself because perhaps you have different perspectives than some others. But this is about you being you, irrespective of what anyone else thinks. Be your authentic self. With the Ace of Trees, abundance, progress, doing it your way. There's something about work. You're either working on something or you're working towards something. Or with Two of Hearts union, you could be within a relationship with someone, but there is a certain circumstance around you that is calling you to absolutely only be you, to be your authentic self through and through, not be swayed by anybody else's perspectives, having the courage, the confidence, just with this lovely Leo energy, just to be you, to know that you are amazing as you are. There's definitely a kind of an energy around you where other people have different viewpoints, or you could be, I don't know, I almost want to say swayed by insecurity, but curiously enough, I sort of feel like in your heart of hearts, you absolutely know through and through where you are. This is lovely. It's like having the freedom of expression here. Having the freedom to be you. Knowing what to do and how to do it and when to say it. And it may be different. I feel like your pathway somehow is different to those of people around you. And this is asking you not to make any kind of excuse for being you. Just be you in the best possible way. I feel you're also rising. Sacred Falcon shows the way. There is something in your world that is rising up, maybe to a greater space of visibility. Your immediate message is, wholeheartedly pile 3, that there's a situation around you. It could be with somebody, or it could be in a broader group of people, where you are needing to have the courage and the confidence wholeheartedly just to be your genuine, authentic self, not be dragged into or buy into anybody else's perspectives. You know, it's like having a freedom of speech, freedom of voice, being you, being clear about your values, your beliefs, irrespective of what anybody else may feel. Let's draw more cards. Maybe we get some further information from my lovely pile 3 about this. We have 8 of Hearts, codependency. Okay, this is interesting. I'm seeing this card here too. Ace of Stars, creation. 4 of Stars, advancement. Okay, I do feel, yeah, that this is, again, this is about you striding out on your own. It doesn't mean you end a connection with someone. I'm not necessarily seeing something that specifically ends something, but it is about you literally being your own unique self, advancing your own viewpoint, taking your life further, not being blinded by anybody else's perspectives. With the codependency card, I do feel, you know, there could be a pressure upon you, peer pressure perhaps, to have to do something in a particular way, or to hold a particular viewpoint. Well, you don't have to. You can hold your own. Absolutely hold your own. Sorry, I wibbled the cards and that was not my intention. The shadow. Gosh, so there is pressure around you. I do feel there is, again, fear, pressure to have to not have a voice, or to not be you, as if it's not okay or you won't be accepted. And whether this is in a one-on-one connection or a group of people around you, it's almost as though there is fear around you that you can't be you, that if you are you, that you could be either singled out or viewed differently. We have the Lovers. This is a card of choice, and it's a card of choice within relationship. Two of Trees, flexibility. Yeah, what else is happening this week? Can we have additional guidance? 12, the turnaround, revolution. I'm seeing this card at the base. Knight of Stars, Adventurer. How beautiful. There's so many cards here that are about progress, abundance, creation, advancement, clarification, adventurer. I think there is a situation around you which you're going to have to navigate, my beautiful souls. And if you're not already navigating it, you will be. This situation requires you to be you and to be authentically you and not be swayed by anybody else's viewpoints. You can be you, you can have a voice, you don't have to be anything that you're not. Interestingly enough, I do feel that you are in a space of possibility. Don't be blinded or fearful of how people might receive you. If somebody doesn't receive you well, then they're not for you. You know, you don't have to buy into somebody else's gossip and drama. Just be you. Be your authentic self. Yeah, there's definitely an attitude of something or somebody around you that holds a different perspective. Your message is so, so clear, Pile 3, which is just be you. You're being guided. You're being shown the way. The key here is absolutely, and the key to the turnaround is for you to be kind of flexible in the way that you navigate this, but also not even remotely to back down from who you actually are, to hold your authentic vision, to be your authentic self. You don't have to be what anyone requires you to be. Just be you. Be the most amazing version of you that you are. Be big, bold, courageous. Don't be afraid to say, well, this is me. I think there's a turnaround. This is one of those situations when I think you hold the higher vision and people will know and respect it. So even if you find yourself confronted by somebody else's perspective and you think, wow, you know, not quite sure how to handle this, and it feels a little bit fearful or anxiety provoking, if you are just you, being you, it will turn around. Other people will see it from your perspective. If you have discord within a connection, a relationship where there's a codependency, for example, somebody's clingy, needing something, when you have the card of freedom, you know, you don't have to comply to that at all. You simply state your position. And I think the other person will come around. You know, they'll recognize that you're right, or they'll recognize that they would lose you if they don't accommodate, even if they gave it their best shot to try and get you to maneuver to their way of thinking. So however this is landing in the uniqueness of your world, I do think it connects to either a person or people around you. And this is all about you having the courage and the boldness and the amazingness to just be you, and you turn the situation around. I think you get the end result you desire here. I'm not seeing anything, everything here is advancing. Don't be daunted by somebody else coming along and saying, well, I don't agree with that. Why would you think that? You know, just say, well, actually, do you know, the reason I think that is because of this. You know, I've contemplated this quite a lot, you know. So you put forward your perspective without fear, and I think it will be received. I really, really do. So very powerful week for you, my beautiful souls. I'm just going to ask for a couple more cards to kind of get the heads up as to where this might be going or what the longer term outcome might be. Maybe we have any information or guidance as to how the outcome of this might be. I'm seeing this card and also this one. So this one and this one. Okay, we have Ace of Angels, Wisdom, beautiful, Three of Stars, Vision, fabulous. Your wisdom, your insight, your authenticness will really, really create a celebration. I could even see you becoming, you know, stepping into the limelight, creating a solution simply by being you. Changing people's perspectives just by being you, whether it's a person or it's a group of people. Codependency, people who would like, I mean ultimately codependency is orientated from a position of fear. You know, when people are in a codependent relationship or they're creating that sort of dynamic, they're doing so because they're insecure and they're fearful of loss very often. And so what they're doing is using a particular method of behavior to try and keep themselves feeling safe and secure. Of course, what it does if they engage with somebody healthy is that it pushes them away. The healthy person just says, well, I'm not hanging out with this. You know, I need my freedom. I need to be me. And I feel there's something of this, the essence of that kind of energy around you. For some of you, it's exactly that, within a connection, within a relationship. And for others, it is, you know, within a greater sort of community of people around you, whereby you are holding your ground, you're holding that higher vision. You don't buy into the gossip and the drama and the sort of the pettiness of sort of what I would call almost like small-minded kind of, yes, almost, let's call it office politics, for want of a better way of saying it. You're not drawn into it. And that's difficult because it can leave you feeling fearful of being pushed out. But actually what's going to happen, because the energy is all about transformation, what will actually happen is that you will, by being you, you will create a space of possibility, and people will respond because they will see that you have a different viewpoint and a vision that holds wisdom. Wow, very dynamic readings this week. They really, really are. Pile 3, this is your reading. These are the messages. Be yourself, and this is going to turn around, literally. I think you will hold that perspective. But you'll do it through being you, and that's the central message that's right here. And we see, I mean, everything is about progress, advancement, creation, abundance. There's so much positivity, ecstasy coming from this. You know, we're seeing people come together harmoniously, seeing things differently. I mean, this is absolutely fab. I do feel you will be a guiding light in the context of your world, however that forms. So way to go. At the time of doing these readings, stuff is pretty intense astrologically, and we are seeing lots of division and lots of different viewpoints, and yours is a voice worthy of hearing by many, certainly by those immediately around you, and certainly if you're in an intimate partnership where something isn't really, you know, feels like it's not kind of quite as it should be, I think you'll be able to bring it back into balance pretty easily, actually, just by having a voice and being you. Pile 3, I am sending you so much love. This is your reading for this week. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for liking, for sharing, and for subscribing. All of these things really do help to support the channel. I am really honoured to be reading for you. I mean, this level of awareness is fab, because this is the kind of, your level of awareness, Pile 3, is what is actually creating really significant change that ripples into the world and affects the way in which people relate to one another, the way in which people see one another. So this is fantastic. Thank you for being you. It's truly an honour to be connected with you. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you again for another reading really, really soon. Tons of love.